You better turn off that YouTube stable volume there and upgrade your headphones for this one. This is a Dream Speaker Series review of the Sigberg Audio Sarana floor standard speaker, including the Elite Silverback listening team. It doesn't get much better than this. In this review, we bring the designer to tears. Patricia finds new measures for speaker performance. Carsten has multiple English accents.
It sounds damn good.
Sebastian rocks hard. And Tim had a unfortunate sexual incident the night before.
Yeah. You are so wonderful.
And Lars is in a hurry. Then we push the speakers to find out what they're made of. And it's safe to say that most of us got our prejudices bit slapped by these speakers.
Oh, hey!
I've had the Saranas and their bigger sisters, the Sigberg Audio Manta system, with at least 10 days dedicated to listening with the team.
You're also sitting there nodding in the back.
That's just a cool track.
The sessions are recorded using top-tier reference microphones and available in full to the awesome people that support our mission of nature preservation. Yes, we work for charity and you can support us and get access to the entire sessions by joining us on Patreon for less than what you pay for a cup of coffee a month. Join the Elite and enjoy the full sessions right away. Higher membership levels also get access to personal consulting from me, way cheaper than my normal rates.
Say Stern Home Review. Stern Home Review. Hey!
Welcome to another Dream Speaker Series review, where brave companies put their efforts in front of the Silverback listening team with no demands or say. We let our ears and preferences judge in the same room, thus building a library of sound experiences to guide your purchase decisions. We're testing them solely by ear and try to uncover what the heck is going on before delivering our final team verdict and review points. When I saw these Sarana floor standards being announced, I was immediately intrigued, simply because this company clearly do things that goes against the mainstream. We are talking cardioid, coaxial, and active floor standards. That's enough unconventional stuff to risk an audiophile fatwa being issued by more conservative audiophiles. Now, being an active speaker, some audiophiles may take issue, but you really shouldn't if you know what's good for you.
I really like the idea of having digital crossovers. There's less sort of efficiency loss. You get amplifiers dedicated to each channel, and they're sort of purpose-built to be perfect for that speaker. It'll be a better speaker.
So what would you say to those audiophiles that believe you need to have a big amp stack and a lot of gear besides the speakers?
It'll be a better speaker. I have great respect for the hobby, right? And for a lot of people, that's a great part of the hobby, to sort of exchange, to explore new gear and switch it out now and then. So I fully understand that and respect that. You can still have tube preamps, you can have all kinds of sources and DACs and vinyl rigs, and you can still have a lot of things to sort of nerd about if you want to do that.
And if there's something I just can't stay away from, it's a good underdog story and big spicy meatballs. But let's get real here. What kind of speaker designer ditches the need for external power amplifiers and fancy speaker cables, put a coaxial unit with a compression horn driver up front, and makes huge holes in the sides and hides two professional 8-inch woofers around the back just to tell you to place it like 20 centimeters from the wall, and then claims that it will do really great imaging too?
What does that say? The whistle.
Well, meet the living legend himself, the man known in the local Norwegian folklore as the Wizard of Ås, Mr. Torbjørn Sigberg.
Started out as sort of me wanting to create more of a rock and roll kind of speaker, because the two systems we have before are also used in studios. They're very sort of linear and well behaved. And I was thinking maybe I could sort of I don't have any hair anymore, but let my hair down a bit and let the speakers let the hair down a bit. It sounds strange, but I wanted to make a less precise speaker. But then my sort of own preferences are what it is, and I still want to do really high-end drivers and stuff like that. So I guess it ended up more well-behaved than I thought it would do to begin with.
So the Serana is an attempt to take all the qualities of the SAT sub-based Manta system into a simpler floor-standing package. But what about that design?
They look very good. They're quite elegant set of speakers, quite unconventional with the light finish. They look like they belong more in a kind of a kitchen or something like that.
It's leaned a little bit backwards, so you get the tweeter coax driver going upwards toward the roof, and I find that very interesting because you can play with some sitting distances to find the right elevation to your ears.
Classical, and it doesn't disturb the room very much. At some point it hurts my eye because the angle is too little to kind of, why not just make it completely
level.
Yeah, level.
They look awfully feminine in that white, and Patricia was clearly not satisfied with the flower/wife-safe angle on top here.
It's the drunk angle.
Fortunately, if the kitchen white is not your jam, it's also available in death metal blacked out blackness. Yeah. Anyway, let's just quickly understand how the Serana came to be. Sigberg Audio is what happens when a former IT and product development guy with a childhood hi-fi obsession and indoctrination introduced by his Manta mountain driving uncle, he decides that compromise is a disease.
I've been into hi-fi all my life, so I had a lot of expensive cool gear, but then you get kids and they're like these little creatures that can tip things over, so I got into a bit cheaper stuff and like wall mounted, and that sort of killed like the fun of it. So I got to thinking, especially maybe on the bass. I always loved bass. So like, okay, how can I still have a good bass, but like this tiny wall-mounted speakers? And also you don't want it to like be super visible, right? So the idea was born for the Incognito subwoofer, which is a bit of a strange sort of pizza box shape, I guess, that you can put on the floor, you can put it against the wall or even on the wall. I ended up prototyping that and hid it behind my TV on the wall.
But Sigberg's core idea was never just about subs. It was about the system approach, letting each element handle the job it was best at. So when they followed up with the Manta, a big cardioid satellite monitor meant to be paired with their subs, the formula was clear. Precision, control, and proper bass meant freedom from traditional speaker compromises and scalability to the customer's SPL needs. And yet, not everyone wants multiple boxes. Some want it simple. And this one caught our attention big time, as the combination of technologies used here really haven't been seen before in this format. And while there has been whispers on the internet about a Wizard of Oz, how radical can the result actually be? The coaxial alignment ensures phase-coherent point source behavior up to and beyond 20 kHz, delivering a stable lock-in image across a wide soundstage that the team noticed right away.
I think I can feel that they worked a lot with the angles of the sound. It feels like the voice is very centered.
Good precision, voices object-like in the middle where they should be.
The soundscape is impressive, especially in depth there. You feel like the bass and drums are standing behind the back wall there.
It's a big soundstage. It is airy. You can almost see inside it.
Nothing is coming out wrong. All details are there. Big image, not too big, but within confinement of the room. You still hear sounds outside the speakers, nice center image.
Borrowing placement theory from the Incognito subwoofer actually, the Serana is engineered to leverage the room, not fight it. Placement-wise, I took Sigberg's word for it and smashed the Saranas up against the wall about 20 to 25 centimeters, that's less than 1 feet of clearance, to the back wall. Immediately I got surprised by a pretty neutral bass response coming from the speakers, something that is not normal in this room when smashing speakers up against the wall. So let's dive into the many hours of listening to the result.
It's a nice piece, yes. One of my friends who composed it.
Wow.
It was a really good experience.
Yeah.
And it was it's a string quartet, so I had the first violin in my left side and the cello in the right. I was really good dynamics, and it felt like there wasn't any artificial stuff put into this. It was just really like natural.
And let's get the available sound pressure and headroom out of the way using our standard parallax test.
The ouch level.
It has this very, very loud snare drum that also have to keep its shape, right?
Yeah.
With that wobbly bass just...
Without it modulating it, yeah.
Yeah, trying to kill every speaker.
Yes.
It comes by. And here you can hear how they sound at max capacity in comparison. $108, so $109, that's where we hit the end stop.
Impressive. Because it maintains its tightness and it's...
I don't hear it falling out of shape either.
Nope. No, it maintains it all the way up to very loud and just before it starts breaking up.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, for that size speaker, it still feels like it's a little relaxed, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not like, if you had a party, you would think, that's nothing.
Right.
105, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you heard the same thing from a horn speaker, like the JBLs, you would actually go like, okay, it's quite pushy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But these ones are quite relaxed and laid back. They're just folded back into themselves a little bit. So a little bit introvert. They're not shouty or harsh or brash in any way.
But even that couldn't make him hate the Saranas with his Pop Queen repertoire. He fought them a bit with voicing, looking for that PA horn excitement that he actually personally likes. Carsten, on the other hand, that was really hard on a speaker like the CLC 65, totally fell in love with his test favorites and heavy classics.
That sounds absolutely insanely good. Notice the tone when he strikes. Like with many others we've heard, it's almost faded out before he hits the next note, but here it still stands beautifully and clearly when he hits the next note on the piano, and his voice, when it comes through there, wow, it's as if he's standing up there on the stage. It's great.
It is impressive.
Wow.
I've never heard anything like it.
What should I say?
It's insane. That bass going on in the background and the drums and so on. There's such a snap to it. It's almost like you can feel it physically. I don't think I've ever heard Black Sabbath with such a punch before. It's impressive.
Is it smooth enough so that you don't sit there feeling completely attacked?
It shouldn't be too smooth either. It's Black Sabbath, for heaven's sake.
Yes.
But do you think the balance is there?
There's enough attack in it.
And it shouldn't be smoother than that. But it's not like it scares anyone away, making them run off screaming. So this is just right.
This is Chaka Khan, you know. Her voice can be pretty hard, and on this recording, it can't be on some systems. At the same time, we have a big fat bass.
Trouble, little angel. Inconsistent, flying blind most of the time. Drama queen.
Yeah, it's the best I've heard this track, I think. Wow. Totally smooth without being overly warm or anything like that. It has still the detail. And it has the articulation, even when playing low.
Her voice has never sounded better. I think she has practiced a bit. She might have taken singing lessons because it sounds fantastically sharp and beautiful.
Our trained speaker specialist, Sebastian Schlager, dubbed The Duck, had a blast of a day rocking hard with his wide selection of music.
Okay, so this track can be quite difficult because of the distorted guitars are pushed forward in the sound, and it doesn't sound gritty or distracting or anything harsh or anything. It's pretty well behaved.
I like this speaker better than I like my Technics R1s because it has the punch that the R1 completely lacks. And every time I hear classical music on these, I feel fine. I feel happy.
It's presenting the different levels quite precise.
Patricia is a hard nut, as her expectations to hi-fi is to reproduce the scale and space in a live performance. Her reference is jazz clubs and symphony orchestras, so when a hi-fi system makes her feel, I know that we're getting onto something.
And all that other mother jazz. In the right tempo. Fly me to the moon. Let me swing among those stars. Let me see what spring is like on a Jupiter and Mars.
Yeah, well, it sounds amazing. It's really nice. Both this one and the previous, it's just, projects really good, and it's just a nice and round sound, and
without losing the articulation, right? Do you feel the same here?
Yeah, and I think,
mean,
especially with these jazz tunes.
Yeah,
because you have the instruments is just coming out so natural and clear. Yeah, and this with the direction, the angles of the sound, I really like that you can sense that it's coming from the sides also.
I have had almost 8 weeks with the Sarana and Manta systems, starting with the first impression session, taking you through some of the repertoire I use for speaker evaluation. What stuck with me the most after 6 weeks with the Sarana is actually the extremely good tuning and balance they have. This is something we find in all the testimonies. Precision, nice on the ears.
So no matter what we threw at it, Daft Punk or Jenny Lewis, it came out very good, very pleasant on your ears.
They really serve the music well, no matter what you throw at it. Classical, heavy metal, funk, whatever. It's just come out clean and precise.
It's not something I have simply experienced being carried forward before in one single speaker system. Amazingly, the Sarana does this at all playback levels without a penalty in enjoyment. The only speaker I can recall that I feel was even better at low volume is the Dynaudio Confident 60, that in return quickly runs out of talent when pushed. So, did Sigberg succeed in delivering the Manta sound in a floor standard package? Indeed they did. It's incredible how close they actually sound to each other, given the very different designs. While the Manta can have a bit more capacity, one can always add the subs to the Sarana setup if needed or wanted, but otherwise it's a little nuance that separates the two. Some true magic happened up there in the mountains of Ås, as I can't recall having had a pair of speakers for review that lives and breathes all music like these does. They do it in a kind of introverted way, like that nerd girl.
I'm not that good. Besides, you're my best customer.
That turns out to be a rocking body beauty queen.
You sure I'm not dreaming?
Well, that depends.
Revealing everything, but in the most sweet way, making you feel privileged and happy in their company, and well, a bit aroused. Some of the time too.
They just groove.
The Silverback listening team members picked up on that in their sessions, even the ones that did not have a full night's sleep beforehand.
So it's a very impressive, even voicing they've done that can cope with just about all sorts of music. So it's an impressive pair of speakers that should appeal to all sorts.
They can bring the music into the present with sound artists and stones, and it sounds modern, not just like something old we can throw out.
I think very good experience, very good speaker, no doubt, high-end in every way.
It has a lot of dynamics, really good angles of the music. The definition is very good, and the clarity of the sections and the instruments and the voices is just really good. Yeah, it's a really good speaker.
The designer has found a nice balance between clarity, dynamics, high SPL, full frequency span. If you play folk music, it will deliver folk music. If you play classical, it sounds nice and musical. If you put on some great drum tracks, the drummer is just in the room with you with full force and power. It just makes your musical heart tick a little bit faster and your foot going up and down, and you just want to hear the next track. So I have big fun with this speaker.
And can you even put a price on that? 21,000 euros is a good pile of money, right? But in the context of a high-end speaker, it seems extremely reasonable. A pair of Linkdorf Q100 two-way bookshelf will easily set you back 20,000 euros too, remember? And here you even get all the amplifiers perfectly matched and built in. A bit more serious active comparison could be the 40,000 euro Focal Diva Utopia speakers that offers some interesting design elements as well, but judging from a sit down at a trade show, I don't think it can match the Sarana's balance and room friendliness without adding DSP. Separation anxiety, that's what I feel right now. And it's not a word I ever used about hi-fi before. But these Sigberg speakers here, they unexpectedly have taken me by surprise. I can honestly say that I have never in my 40 years of sound experience heard speakers with such amazing musical balance and tuning that just melts together with the room. And nothing could be more wrong than discarding them over whatever technology is used.
It'll be a better speaker.
These things, they love your music. Well done, Mr. Wizard. Well done.
Yeah. That's what we all want to achieve, right, with our music.
Now, people, hang on for the pros, the cons, and the team's review score. Remember to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you get notified when the next review drops. And remember, the truth will always reveal itself when we just listen. See you soon.
Men jag cyklar ut i kärnan och tänker på allt det du sa. Får jag vänta väl igen? Men kan du se ifrån? När du bestämmer dig bestemmer deg. Jeg vil ikke holde fast for lenge. Snart må jeg komme meg hjem, men det finnes et lite håp som jeg ikke klarer å gi slipp på. At du snart er her igjen. Men jeg sykler ut i kjernen og tenker på alt det du sa. For jeg venter veldig gjerne. Men kan du si ifra når du bestemmer deg? Hvis du bestemmer deg, bestemmer deg.